It just... Hey everyone, welcome to another video, and let's jump straight into it. So today we are going to be reviewing Hurricane Wars. Now, I have thoughts. This book for me was really up and down. I liked it, and then I was less interested, and then I liked it. It was really up and down overall, roller coaster. Let's get into plot. Starting out, we have Taliesin and we have Alaric, who is the son of the Night Emperor, who is battling Taliesin's country in the Hurricane Wars. So this is true enemies to lovers in its purest form. They are literally at war with each other, and they are fighting and they are battling. It's life or death situations here. Their people are fighting each other. As stuff progresses, he and Taliesin meet several times in different skirmishes, and there are losses on both sides, and Taliesin is increasingly hating him for what he is doing, and he is tasked with killing her because he's sent to exterminate her kind, basically, for a wrong that their country committed. Anyway, so in terms of world building here, I thought the world building was interesting. It was very in-depth. There were some parts that I kind of glazed over a little bit because it was kind of info dumping on some parts, and there were just so many names for things that I didn't know. But at the same time, I really like world building and I like magic mixing with technology. I think that sort of thing is cool and interesting. The way it could be conveyed could have been a little better, but this is the author's first novel, and stuff like that can be really hard to keep track of. As a writer myself, I definitely recognize that in my own writing, and it's really hard to keep pacing and knowing what to reveal about your magic and technology to the readers. It's very hard. I felt like this book was almost like a mashup of Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and then also Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. So Shadow and Bone is like very YA, popular everything, and the Dark Prince vibes with a person with light magical abilities. And then we have Stormlight Archives, where it's like this really hardcore fantasy, where harsh world building, very interesting, amazing literature. So good. That series is amazing, and I will probably do a review on lots of his books in the future. Anyway, the magic and the plot kind of felt like a mix of those two books for me. And then further into the plot as we go along, there were, again, very up and down for me. So there were so many points where I was like, oh wow, I'm really enjoying this. This is interesting, the plot. Oh yeah, this romance is good. And then something would happen, and any progress in Taliesin's and Alaric's relationship, I felt backslided. And I just couldn't handle that very well. I understand, again, this is true enemies to lovers. They don't like each other. And Taliesin has so much reason to be angry at him, I understand. But she has a very hard time separating the war from what he has actually done personally, and realizing he does have a personality and emotions. Whenever they have emotional moments, I felt like, oh, we're finally getting somewhere, and then something petty or an event happens, one of them says the wrong thing, and then they're straight back to enemies again. I don't mind this happening sometimes, but it happened so much in the book. It was so repetitive. I was like, this is starting to get a little old here. I just felt like they needed more time to actually connect. They spent a lot of time together, but anytime that Taliesin ever got close to him and wasn't fighting with him was more in the physical sense, which I loved those blush moments, right? where they're getting close and things are starting to get heated. Great, but I needed more emotional connections where they didn't attack each other for it afterward. I needed more bonding than I saw. And there was, but especially towards the end of the book, it kind of had less of that connection, and it was more about, oh, you're really hot, and that's why I feel like we should be together, rather than I'm starting to fall in love with you, if that makes any sense. So, bit of a rant. Really wanted more connection between the two of them. They had a lot of chemistry and a lot of passion, and there was a lot of fired up moments in the fights, and I love that aspect of it. I just didn't think it was balanced well enough. Now, I respect what the author was doing, and I understand where Taliesin especially is coming from with all of her anger. It makes sense, and I understand why she's holding herself back. But again, I wanted some of the lapses that they had to be because they were starting to fall in love with each other rather than physical attraction. The physical attraction was amazing, but it needed balance, and I just feel like I didn't get enough of that. The end especially frustrated me a lot, but I have not given up on the book, or I've not given up on the series. I will probably read the second one to see where this goes because I'm still interested in the plot as a whole and I want to see where it leads. We'll see how that goes. The ending was kind of not very fulfilling. I just finished it today, actually, so it's relatively fresh in my mind. It just wasn't very fulfilling of an ending. Nothing major happened. I thought it was still the middle of the chapter when it just kind of cut off, and I swiped because I was reading an ebook. Physicals are always better, but can't always. So anyway, I swiped and there's the acknowledgements, and I was like, where's the rest of it? It can work as an ending, it just wasn't the ending I was expecting. I was expecting something more like, whoa, to happen. Some kind of reveal or revelation, which it was. I guess it just wasn't more important to me as a reader. But it will definitely, I think, lead to an interesting plot in the second book. So we will see how that goes. The review is relatively spoiler-free. I don't think I will have a spoiler section for this video, as I think I've explained all I wanted to with it. So, on that note, I will probably bid you adieu. Peace out.